I think what people don't realize is that TikTok Shop is such a new platform, and it's not at like late stage like processes that, like, for example, Amazon is, or any one of these other marketplaces.
That's the hack of the episode right there.
It's tricky because TikTok is probably has the most aggressive like geo-locking approach to any other social media.
All right, we're here with Rafi again talking TikTok. This is Emplicit presents TikTok Zero to Hero. If you've listened to previous episodes, you've heard Rafi speak about the journey from a 7- and 8-figure brand going from zero, literally nothing on TikTok, to having a fully built out strategy and executing at a high level. Go listen to the first 3 episodes. Here, we've been getting listener feedback. We've been getting listener questions. We wanted to dig in. Rafi, how's it going? And give us a quick update. Anything new in TikTok land that you're seeing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, things are going great. Obviously, everyone's talking about the TikTok ban at the moment, so that's been kind of like a hot button topic. I've got some thoughts on it. I'm actually not very worried about it at all. Yeah.
Okay, dig into it.
Yeah. So what TikTok has proven is that not only is the future of content short form and how people prefer to consume, but people are taking buying decisions off short form content. And then they tacked on TikTok Shop as a viable marketplace for people to purchase from short form content to then purchase, like it's been established. And so let's say worst case scenario, let's say that, it needs to be sold or it needs to be taken out of the US. That firstly, one, that's not going to happen immediately. But secondly, all those creators are going to need to go somewhere else. And all those other tech giants in the US are going to see, hey, this is like $100 billion industry. Oh, if we tack on a shop and be able to apply the same playbook TikTok Shop has over here, then I don't see it being the only social media that attaches social commerce in such an effective way. So I'm not really too worried. From a business perspective, we need to understand how to convert people from a short form content and then get them to drive a business result. That's one. Affiliates and influencers need somewhere to go, and they're going to continue creating content because they have that amazing skill set. So they're just going to transfer somewhere else. And all we really need to focus on is where's the attention, and then how can we harness that attention for a business result.
Awesome. Because you're saying it doesn't matter if it's Instagram or YouTube Shorts or Amazon finally does something and gets some traffic.
I would be shocked if Amazon figured it out, but yeah.
Agreed. If you were putting a bet, who would you bet? Like, we bet gets banned or not banned, and then if it gets banned, who buys this thing?
Man, I don't know. I mean, if it gets, I'd be surprised if it actually gets banned, to be fair. I just don't think the likelihood is super high, but let's say it does. I don't think any of like Meta or Microsoft could do it. I mean, even like Elon, because then you think about like monopolistic, they've got those laws in the US, so you can't really. So it's like maybe Oracle early on was going to pitch for it, but now that was like when it wasn't worth hundreds of billions of dollars, which it is now. So who knows? Yeah.
I'm betting Amazon.
You think so? Amazon's do you think it? I think they'd want it, but I don't think they'd actually be allowed to.
Maybe. Or the Walmart then.
Well, maybe. Actually, maybe.
That could be a good one.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sweet. Okay. A couple questions from listeners. And if you're a listener, put a comment on the videos or send us an email. We have a listener who has experimented with TikTok, who you would even say has had some decent success. They've done a bunch of outreach. They've had enough pieces of content. They've got 50 pieces of content made.
Okay.
Now, however, their dashboard is saying 0 orders from all of those 50 pieces of content.
Okay.
So what's going on, and what should they try?
Firstly, great effort on actually going out there and talking to affiliates and getting pieces of content. That's like the biggest barrier for new brands to get on there. So that's a good thing. I think to be able to diagnose this, these are the questions that I ask you. I'd want to know how you filtered the affiliates you decided to send out samples to and create content for, assuming that they're, your avatar and they're talking to your avatar and you've done that kind of filtration process. Okay, cool. You've got pieces of content created from those people. What did you provide them from a support perspective to help create that content? I think we mentioned it maybe in episode 2 when we were talking about creating a sandbox for creators to make sure that you create content that actually drives a result. And so did you analyze what's happening in your niche and share, okay, these are examples of hooks that I'd like you to do. These are things I'd like you to mention, and these are things I'd like you to show. You don't have to script it out, but give them a support document so that they can actually use that as a launching pad to create content. That would be my question.
So one hypothesis is that they weren't guided and they maybe just produced some low converting content.
Yeah. And another one could be like, prior to that was, well, how did you select your affiliates? Were they just anyone, or was it, based on the actual, market? Yeah.
Like, was it a grandma for some cool kid thing, or vice versa?
Oh yeah. Or, the worst part is when it's not that obvious, where it's like, oh, this looks like my customer, but their content isn't talking to what your customer would actually watch. Right. So it's that where you actually end up, making the mistake accidentally.
Okay.
Yeah.
What tweaks or things should they try going forward?
Okay, so I'll start with the first one, which is like filtering the affiliates. If you're filtering the affiliates, one of the easiest ways is to use keywords that your target audience uses on the platform. So it could be like specific hashtags or specific keywords. And then it'll pull up affiliates that use these keywords either in their bio or in their content. And so it's a really easy filtering mechanism. Then I'd make sure I filter based on GMV, which is the amount of like sales they're actually driving. And then I would hit them up on like an open like a targeted collaboration, an open plan, and hit a private message. Because if the people that are requesting samples are the ones that have found your open plan, maybe it's like a 30% commission. They're like, oh, this could be interesting. And you're just sending out the sample. There's no filtering process that's gone there. So you might just be, fishing in the wrong pond. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. Badass.
Yeah.
Anything else to wrap that one up, or should we move to the next question?
The second piece on that would be, hey, if I'm trying to optimize this, make sure that you're creating content or asking them to create content that resonates with your target audience, right? So just like view content on the platform that your avatar is watching, and then give that information to your creator and affiliate to help them create content that actually converts.
Awesome. Love it. Second one is, we've seen a lot of suspensions recently for overall accounts and individual products.
Yeah.
Any thoughts there? And then obviously, what can people do to prevent them from happening? And then what should they do once they're already down?
Yeah, no, I've seen that a lot, and it sucks. I think what people don't realize is that TikTok Shop is such a new platform, and it's not at like late stage like processes that, like, for example, Amazon is, or any one of these other marketplaces. It's like fairly new. So there's all these bugs that are happening, and they're operating at a scale that just means the support network isn't there. And I've seen that on accounts that I'm helping with, as well as, other people have mentioned it to me. So first things first, if you have tried to sign up for a TikTok Shop account and it just hasn't worked, or, they keep like disapproving your documents, which is very common, I would just try and open another one. I really would. And I've seen a really interesting workaround, which I don't know why this ends up working so often, but, instead of going on, seller, like TikTok Shop Seller Center, sign up and entering an email, you just click sign up with TikTok. And if you're logged into your TikTok account, somehow it bypasses it and you get approved in like 15 minutes. So, I mean,
it's like on your phone TikTok app.
It doesn't need to be like on your phone. If you're doing this on desktop, as long as your desktop TikTok.com is signed into your account, then you just click sign up with TikTok and it just asks you to authorize. And yeah, it's really cool that it still works.
That's the hack of the episode right there. I mean, we're going to have to, don't bury that lead. That's a hardcore hack. And then finally, we're hearing about, in the same vein of suspensions or not able to log in, we have people whose employees maybe are overseas in the Philippines or Latin America or Europe. They're not able to log into their employers' accounts to go, do some outreach. Any thoughts there, and any things that they should be doing?
It's tricky because TikTok probably has the most aggressive like geo-locking approach to any other social media. To those people, I would suggest, firstly, have a VPN. That seems like an obvious thing. Have a VPN, make sure it's in the US. And as you're logging in, create a completely different browser. So I've got like 3 browsers on my thing. I've got like Firefox, Brave, Chrome, actually 4, as well as Safari. So have just one dedicated to that only. So there's no other cookies from any other websites. And then I guess the question that asked for those people is like, what login details are they using? Why not just create a new administrator account for your VA, so there is no like, oh, this VPN is pinging off a completely different spot. I'm not sure whether they're doing that or not, but that's what I'd recommend. Yeah.
Anything else? Like any other questions that you're getting asked when you're talking to people, or just when you tell people what you do? What are
Yeah.
what are their go-to questions?
Their go-to questions, like really like, hey, what kind of content works? I mean, or isn't that just kids dancing? I get that a lot, even still. But honestly, I think such an underrated hack, which only takes 20 minutes a day, is be on TikTok and like watch the content that your avatar is watching, because you don't need to, recreate the wheel or reinvent it. You're just copying it and just remixing it for yourself. You're remixing the wheel, not recreating it, right?
So how would you do that if you are a 40-year-old man, but you sell a vitamin C serum
Yeah.
for a 25-year-old woman, like
Mhm.
who's the ICP? How would you do that? How
So
would you
I'd
set that up?
log into my TikTok account. I would then go into, like, if I'm not a personal user of TikTok, I could just use any TikTok account. If I'm a personal user, I'd create a completely different account for this avatar, and I'd log in there and I'd go into the search bar and type in keywords that are relevant to my product. So vitamin C serum, for example. Then I click on the hashtag to see all the videos and click add to favorites. And I do that for
Boom.
4 to 5 hashtags. And now in like, 2 to 3 days, your FYP, your For You page starts getting updated with what you're actually engaging with. And then you're just seeing content that your avatar is seeing. Yeah.
Boom. I think that, you know what? This one might have been the hack of the episode. I think this takes the cake right there. That's killer.
Awesome, man.
Badass. Any other thoughts you want to close with?
Yeah, I mean, this is, I guess, an open loop, less of a conclusion. I'm really looking into creating, AI content that's crushing it on TikTok, and I'm going to doing some experiments. So whatever I find in the arena, when we do a future episodes, I'm going to make sure that I share that with you guys.
Oh, I love it. Look at that tease. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you next week. See ya. Bye.